Margaritaville doesn't sound too bad. How about downtown Indianapolis? Close enough?
You can get margaritas there.
Close enough. It is Wednesday morning. We're glad you're up with us here on 13 Sunrise. On the start of the sun is starting to come up, and she's really going to be packing a punch once again. Another hot day, and a hot summer-like day.
Very hot and very summer-like, of course. Well, we know we could see a little bit of rain here this morning. 6 o'clock on your Wednesday, by the way. Welcome in. I'm Julia, along with Julia and Matt here this morning. But just where we'll see those downpours, still kind of the mystery this morning,
yes,
right, Matt?
Exactly. I think best chances will be around Indy and to the north, but there's still some of us who won't get a drop.
Yeah,
it'll stay hot and humid. It feels tropical out there, but we have no palm trees, and no ocean waves.
Which is so sad.
Yeah.
Just close your eyes really tight.
There you go.
There you go.
Maybe play it on your phone.
There you go.
You could do that, and it'll feel like you're out in the tropics. But today it feels already very humid and warm. We're starting off in the mid-70s. We had that weather impact alert again today. I know we sound like a broken record, but I wanted to show you some small changes because every day is pretty similar. But today the rain chance does go up a little bit as our storm zone is slowly trying to come towards central Indiana. As the heat dome collapses, it breaks down. We've got a higher chance for more pop-up showers and storms to try to fight through some of the heat and humidity. Now, not everyone will get a downpour. They're hit or miss chances, but a few of us will. Mainly, the rain still stays off to the north and west, but I do think we'll have more of a track like this closer to the weekend. But it's only Wednesday. It's just day after day, it inches a little bit closer. We've got some rain and rumbles of thunder there close to the Indiana dunes this morning, but here at home, we are dry. We see a sprinkle passing Champaign right now. We'll see if we can get a stray raindrop this morning in Lafayette, but rain chances are super low this morning. I think you're going to be okay. It's just warm and muggy. Good mix of sun and clouds once the sun comes up here in just about 20 minutes or so. But the storm threat is also out there today, a level 1 severe risk. Been watching really closely. We've been having to shift that level 1 severe risk to the south day after day as the heat dome collapses, but now it does include Indy. Now it does include anywhere from Martinsville north, about Nashville north, Columbus north, Decatur and northbound Brookville Lake. We're all included in that. So weather impact alert today. It's still gonna be hot and humid, but you could get some relief with an isolated downpour. If you're headed to the pool, keep an eye on the sky though, because some of these downpours will have some rumbles of thunder and some lightning strikes with them. But not everyone gets one. It's kind of a lottery system, but I think we've got a couple extra tickets today in order to maybe gamble just a little bit. But we are dry out there this morning. Lindsay, we may be tracking more rain this weekend, but you have some updates for the weekend.
Oh, coming up this weekend, not a lot of folks looking forward to this, I'm sure. It's an extension off of last weekend's closure of 65 South. We're just going to flip the direction around and go northbound this weekend. Starting Friday, 9 o'clock, they're going to be shutting down all lanes of 65 northbound in between this junction right here, which is 65 at 465, to the south split. So all lanes are going to be closed, and that includes all of the ramp systems, on and off ramps from 465, including Keystone Avenue, Raymond Street, that Moore Street ramp, as well as those ramps to the collector lanes there at the south split. That's all going to be closed this weekend, set to reopen by the morning rush hour on Monday at 6 a.m. Your preferred alternate route from INDOT would be to utilize 465 eastbound to I-70, or locally, you can utilize US 31 into downtown.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, this morning, a Kokomo woman is facing new allegations of animal abuse here in Indianapolis, when it is not her first time for Crystal Scott either.
She served more than 2 years in federal prison in 2021 for animal cruelty. Now she's facing some trouble again after a dozen animals were found in a U-Haul, reportedly without food or water. Luckily, investigators found the animals after a man helped them track down the truck.
Ashton Hackman is joining us this morning and picks up the story from there, and just such a troubling story, Ashton.
Yeah, a pretty disturbing case, no doubt, especially with how hot it is this week. The investigation started when this neighbor, Kyle Christie, found a lost German Shepherd. He then posted online, hoping to track down the owner. Not long after, he says Crystal Scott messaged, claiming the dog was hers. Christie says Scott and 2 others then came to pick up the dog, but he could tell something was off. He told us the dog didn't respond to the group and then resisted when they walked away. Christie said his sister did a reverse search on the woman's phone number and learned her name was Crystal Scott. Christie says he then found our article about Scott's sentence in her federal case where she killed more than a dozen animals and posted the videos on social media.
If you're handing a dog over, make sure you have assurances that you're handing it over to good people.
Christie's sister eventually found Scott's U-Haul in a Hardee's parking lot on East Washington Street. An IACS report says workers found 12 dogs and cats inside that truck with no food or water. Scott and 2 other people eventually surrendered those animals. Now, part of her sentence from her federal case, she was ordered not to have any pets in the 5 years that she's been on probation. That's still going on.
Yeah, well, thank goodness that he followed his gut there and reported something that it wasn't right. So is she facing any charges, or has she actually been arrested here?
Not yet. She's only facing some local ordinance violations from IACS. We've reached out to IMPD and IACS to get clarification. We'll, of course, let you know when we hear back.
All right. Thank you, Ashton. Well, this morning we're also working to get more information after a missing person was found dead and someone else found driving the car. Anderson police tell us they received a report of a missing person Sunday, and later that day, officers found someone else driving that person's vehicle. They took the driver into custody on preliminary charges of auto theft and forgery. Detectives then searched an area in Madison County using a drone, and that's where they found the body of who they believe is a missing person. We don't have any word on the cause of death or the identity of the person found, though the driver using that vehicle is being held in the Madison County Jail this morning.
This morning, a former coach at Ben Davis High School will appear in court for the first time after being charged with child seduction. Harrison Goss faces 5 charges for allegedly having an inappropriate relationship with a 16-year-old student while he worked as a track and field coach. A spokesperson for MSD Wine Township says he has been fired, and documents indicate Goss would text the victim inappropriate messages and pictures. The documents also show that he asked the victim for sex. The victim told police. Goss told her she could get in trouble if the school found out she was texting him, so she was afraid to reveal them.
Governor Mike Braun will be meeting with the new Indiana Economic Development Corporation today after he replaced the entire board recently. Braun previously ordered a forensic audit of the IEDC, which replaced the state's Commerce Department, but operates with less oversight than a government agency. That meeting today is their second quarter meeting. It's happening at the Indiana State Library, so we'll let you know how it goes and what Governor Braun says after that meeting.
Well, this morning, the Union School Corporation is keeping its doors open, but only for now, at least. The small Randolph County district faced an uncertain fall. Lawmakers slipped Union's closure into a property tax bill added late in the session with little warning. The law would have forced them to close by 2027. But a judge granted an injunction allowing classes to resume this fall while the court case plays out. Superintendent Galen Mass tells 13 News they want more clarity on what the law actually means for the district. We have reached out to Governor Braun's office for more comment.
Public colleges across Indiana are following Purdue University's lead, freezing their cost of tuition.
So what's changing? Well, all of IU's campuses plus Ball State, Indiana State, and Ivy Tech, 15 colleges in all, are committing to holding tuition and mandatory fees flat for in-state undergraduate students. This comes after an urging from Indiana Governor Mike Braun.
So this pause is in place for 2 years. Governor Braun says too many students are going to four-year schools but not finishing. He tells us he wants higher education in our state to better reflect the job market. The Pacers are now settling into the offseason officially, but we are getting some fresh clarity on the true impact of that incredible run in the playoffs.
Yeah, it meant a lot of money for Indianapolis. We're talking about 11 extra home games, crowds of thousands of people in downtown Indianapolis, in our hotels, our restaurants, bars all across the city.
So one of those restaurants is Tupelo Honey. It opened a couple years ago along Alabama Street downtown, not too far from Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And we talked to the general manager there who says that the basketball buzz was real for that restaurant.
There was definitely a lot of first timers that came in, just because other businesses maybe where there was overflow, or they just happened to be walking by and decided, hey, this is close to the field house, let's go try them out.
Yeah, and like you said, Julia, it wasn't just the food scene that got this postseason spark. According to Visit Indy, downtown hotels also saw a big boost, and nearby attractions that people stopped by on the way too.
And let's not forget all the merch, right? The blue and gold merchandise flew off the shelves. There's a big demand for Pacers merchandise, really pretty much any stores you went into.
In the off season too now. So now that we are in the off season, what is next for the Pacers?
Yeah, so we could get a part of our answer tonight with, believe it or not, it is the NBA draft. Talk about wrap up one season and head right into the next. The blue and gold do not have a pick in this first round, but they do have one in the second. So we'll be keeping a close eye on the team's moves tonight.
Well, the Dallas Mavericks, they have the #1 overall pick and will more than likely select Cooper Flagg from Duke University. The Today Show is talking more with Cooper about his future in the NBA. You can watch this sit down with Craig Melvin at 7 this morning.